Have you ever wanted to spice up your style with accessories but just not sure what to do? Well, don't worry, I'll show you everything to know about accessorizing coming up. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of I Am Fox. My name is Chris Fox, and today I'm going to be talking about accessories for men. Now, if you guys remember my last video, I talked a little bit about accessories but didn't go into a lot of detail. So I thought today would be an appropriate time to talk about accessories in a more expansive and a more detailed fashion. Accessories can be somewhat overwhelming because there are so many different options out there. So to keep things simple, I'm going to be talking about 3 pieces that I consider to be essential for the modern man: a watch, a ring, and finally, a pair of sunglasses. I would make the argument that the watch is the most essential accessory that a man can have. Now, the reason I say this is because when you don't have a watch, it's noticeable, but it's also noticeable when you have a really cheap watch. So if you can only afford to get one item from this video, I would say get a good watch. With watches, there are 2 things that you should consider. The first is the type of band that you want. Do you want to go with a metal band, or do you want to go with a leather band? Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's all personal preference. Both look really good. So if you go with a metal band, you're going to look good. If you go with a leather band, you're also going to look good. So really, you don't have to sweat too much about it, but it's all personal preference and maybe even price depending on what you get. The other thing to think about is, do you want to get analog or do you want digital? I would say if you're looking at getting a really nice looking watch, one that classes up your style, you should stay away from digital unless you're thinking about an Apple Watch, which is a whole different topic, and I actually plan to do a video on how to class up Apple Watches in the future. But really, for this video, I would say the only option is analog. Now, you might be concerned about the price because watches can get very expensive, but they don't have to be. In a lot of places, you can actually get watches for under $100. So on Amazon.ca, you can actually see a breakdown of the different categories of watches you can get, and there's also a tab, or a button rather, that gets you into watches that are less than $100. So these watches are under $100. You can see them right here, and these are actually pretty good watches. So you don't need to break the bank to get a good watch. At least not yet. I mean, maybe when you get older and you're going into like a $100,000 job, you might want to get the really fancy watch. But for now, if you're my age or a bit younger, then I think something under $100 will do just fine as long as it looks good. So here are some other examples of watches that you can consider. But really, at the end of the day, as with everything else in this video, it's up to you. So you have to find a watch that you feel comfortable with and one that doesn't break the bank for you. With rings, there are 3 different types of rings that are the most common. The first style of ring I want to talk about is what I would call the standard ring. Now, with these rings, there's nothing too exciting about it. It's often very plain looking, it can come in silver or gold, and will often have a design that goes all the way around, and this design is usually very simple. As you can see, it's a nice looking ring, but there's nothing too exciting about it. It does look good, and it is a nice ring to complement any outfit. The second style of ring that I want to talk about is what I would call the fidget ring. So fidget rings, like the standard ring, look very similar. So they have designs that go all the way around. They can either be plain or they can, as I said, they can have designs. But these designs aren't usually too crazy, and they're not something that's going to draw immediate attention. They're still going to look good, but they are very simple. The difference with the fidget ring is that the area with the pattern can rotate. So this is something that's kind of fun. I personally like it when I'm in a situation where I'm a little bit stressed out or a little bit anxious. I can fidget with my fidget ring, rotate it around a little bit, and I feel a lot better, and it's not too distracting. As with the standard style of ring, they come in a lot of different colors, often silver or gold. As I'll talk about later, silver or gold are really good colors because they work with almost any outfit. The final type of ring that I want to talk about is what is often called the signet ring. Now, signet rings were used historically by people of great influence. Often they represented family crests or positions of power. Now today the signet ring isn't really used for that, it's more of a fashion statement. The main feature is that it looks like a normal ring at the bottom, but then at the top it's flat and will usually have some sort of design or a solid color in the middle. Now, this ring that you're looking at is one that I bought last May. Bought it for about $30. Love it, and I wear it almost every day. And like the style or the fidget rings, it works with almost any outfit. Sunglasses are an important accessory primarily because of the function that they serve. As in the name, and as you already know, sunglasses are good at protecting your eyes from the sun. But they also, if worn properly and if you buy the right ones, can look really cool. So when you go out, put on your sunglasses, well, people will think, hey, you know what, you look like a pretty cool guy. So they're great. But with sunglasses, as with everything else I've talked about in this video, they come in a huge variety of styles and come in a lot of different colors. But to keep things simple and to keep things relevant, because it is 2018, I'm going to talk about what I think is the most popular style for men today, and that is the aviator. One of the things to consider with aviators and sunglasses in general is the size of the lens. Now, there are no hard and fast rules about this, but in my opinion, I kind of feel like people with really large lenses and aviators kind of look like they could be a jerk. Now, there's no scientific reasoning for this. There's been no historical documentation into this phenomenon. It's just something that I believe. But it's something that I've heard other people say as well. So when picking out a pair of sunglasses, keep that in mind. Now, I would recommend going into different stores, looking online, maybe Google imaging them, and just seeing different types. The sunglasses you're seeing right here, this is a pair I bought from Fossil. I love this pair. What I like about it is it feels like an aviator, because it is an aviator and it gives off that vibe, but the lenses aren't so large that I look like a jerk when I'm wearing them. But obviously you have to do what you feel comfortable with. With those accessories on hand, you, my friends, are going to look good. Well, that about does it for this video. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. But until then, take care.